Now we talk about anthropology, fossilized human remains, parts, skulls and jaws, etc. But I want to point out about something very important that happened in 1959 in the Olduvai Gorge in Tanganyika by Dr. Louis and Mary Leakey and their son Richard. Their son was still very young then, but in 1959 I was 23 years old, living in Cairo, and I remember vividly about the discovery of this famous fossil that Mary Leakey found, and they said it was about 1.7 million years old, and they called it Zinzanthropus erectus, which later on they classified as Australopithecus. Now, as I said, it was very important for me because I was there. I witnessed the event. I didn't see it happening, but it was there in the papers, photographs and everything. I lived it, sort of, you know. But later on, a lot of other fossils have been found in France, in Europe, in Germany, and many other places. And the ones that we are showing now, they are the Neanderthal bones. Neander, because there was a valley in Germany called Neander in Düsseldorf. That's where they found the first fossils. That's why it's called the Neanderthal man or bones. They were found in many places in France, in La Chapelle aux Saints, and in the Middle East, in China, even in Java, which is in Indonesia, and the Middle East, as I said before. Now, these are some human skulls naturally put together in clay to give us the visual presentation of how our ancestors looked. Now all these fossils are tested and classified, and you can find them in museums, dated and all. So one of the oldest one, it is 4.1 million years old, but the Neanderthal man about 100,000 to 30,000 years ago. That's where men started building houses. When I say houses, shelters in mud brick or whatever material they used to find, and they became hunters-gatherers. That's where my story will begin very soon.
This part is about the different periods where men, humans, have existed and evolved. I won't go very far back, but you can go 500 million years if you want to, or 4 billion. But I start with the names of these epochs. We call them the epoch, or periods. This is the Miocene period, which is 23.8 million to 1.8 million years ago, where hominids, humans, started appearing. We have fossils. Now, there is also the Pleistocene, which is 1.8 million to 10,000 years ago. And in this period, a lot of changes happened to the existence of the hominids. The scene, Miocene, Pleistocene, the word scene means recent, not big deal. What is paleontology? Paleontology is the study of fossils, the remains of once living organisms which are preserved in the sedimentary rock record. But we won't go through that. We'll go through the anthropology. Anthropos means humans, man, and ology means the science of. Anthropology, the study concerned with human evolution and human adaptation. That's anthropology. The human evolution. Evolution of human, the Homo sapiens, which is us, and its close relatives. Today, human evolution research is an exciting, rapidly changing field that involves hundreds of scientists. As a result of the discoveries made by these researchers, we now possess a remarkably detailed picture of human evolution during the past several million years. Geneticists have found that we share, that is humans, approximately 98% of our DNA with the chimpanzees, making them our closest living relatives. Modern understanding of human evolution rests on known fossils. Genetic studies, including the extraction of ancient DNA from fossils, will become ever more important in reconstructing the pattern of hominid evolution. The history of hundreds of different genes is now being studied for comparison from the DNA of living people and DNA recovered from several Neanderthal specimens, which will increase our understanding of human prehistory in the years ahead. Neanderthal, named from the Neander Valley in Germany, where the first skeleton was recognized. Now, this is a very important part here. About only 12,000 years ago, one of the most important events in human history took place. Plants and animals began to be domesticated. The revolution of agriculture and animal husbandry set the stage for the events in human history that led to the development of towns and cities and continuing growth in human population numbers. The gradual concept and belief in gods and goddesses, the beginning of religion, matriarchy, patriarchy, storytellers, lawmakers, rulers, kings. The writing started, people to write, cuneiform, and pictographs and hieroglyphics, followed by alphabets and scribes, artists, carvings, paintings, temples, priests, astronomers, and different interpretations. The hereafter, the punishment by God, sacrifices to gods, and offerings. Mainly, fear in the minds of people started developing. The fear of the unknown. We start this part with the Stone Age period. There are three parts in the Stone Age: the Old Stone Age, Paleolithic, the Middle Mesolithic, and the Neolithic, which is the New. In these periods, the Paleolithic, the Old Stone Age, is where man developed a lot of skills. The next ages is the Bronze Age and the Iron Age. But now we go back 30,000 years. This small statuettes, clay figurines, it's 30,000 years old, and it's depicting a mother goddess, mother figure. They used to worship the female mothers there as the goddess of fertility, especially a place called Çatalhöyük in Anatolia. It's worth investigating about Çatalhöyük and finding out more what there is. Now, there are few very old cities like Ugarit, Uruk, Akkad, which are very important cities. They contributed a lot to the development of human beings as far as architecture, laws, and government and writing is concerned. Now, this is the Ishtar goddess, Ashtoreth, Astarte, Artemis, Aphrodite, Diana, supreme mother goddess, which was worshipped all over the Middle East and the Near East. And a lot of kings and rulers made statues and also temples for this Ishtar, goddess Ishtar. It is mentioned in the Bible as well. And this is the law of Hammurabi carved on a stone. Hammurabi was a king of Babylon. The first ever law before the biblical Moses gave the law to its people. Now, this is a religion called Ahura Mazda or Zoroastrian religion, which was spread many places, like from China to Scotland, to Spain, Romania, Germany, Hungary, Bulgaria, Turkey, Persia, Armenia, Syria, Israel, which was depicted as a winged vulture, and on top of the vulture, it was a sort of a god sitting with a circle in his hand, depicting eternity. Now, we start here by the showing the Ishtar gate, the gate of this goddess called Ishtar, built by Nebuchadnezzar II, the biblical Nebuchadnezzar. Sadly, I have to show you to know what actually happened. These are facts. I'd rather be wrong than silent, like I always say that. This is the Ishtar Gate. Magnificent temple that was destroyed. Many temples have been destroyed. And this is some of the reliefs, like this is, I think it's a unicorn and a lion, and also there is the bulls that were worshipped then, and like the Minoans, about 600 before our era, used to worship the bull, and one of their ceremonies were to jump over the bull that is in Knossos, painted on the walls. We'll talk about that also. Here is the winged lion with the head of a king wearing a typical crown that might be Darius the First. Now, if you notice on the top of this carving, there is the winged vulture with a god sitting on top and holding a round disc. You can pause the video to read the captions. Now, more bulls that they used to worship. The ancient Egyptians used to worship, they had a sacred bull also, and they used to call it was called the Apis bull. In Arabic is Ibl Apis. This is a three-dimensional reproduction of the bull, and it's very, it's a coincidence that some people in the desert made a bull out of gold and started worshipping it too. And this in Spain, the Spanish bullfight, maybe it comes from the same source, because ole comes from the word Allah, because the Moors used to be in Spain for 800 years. So a lot of Spanish towns are called, they are Arabic names in reality, and there are beautiful monuments and temples and castles there. Now, this is the three-dimension reproduction of the Ishtar Gate on the internet. If you can search for Ishtar on the internet, and you will see beautiful buildings. This is also a reconstruction, but these temples and palaces, unfortunately, were destroyed by Alexander the Great when he conquered Babylon and Persia. And the king Darius III was killed. Now, this is Darius the First, a very important king who carved on the face of a mountain 300 feet high, 100 meter high, and it was it had a statement written in 3 languages in cuneiform, and here he is subjugating his enemies. They are tied together, and you can see Ahura Mazda on the right hand, on the middle, with the god sitting on the winged vulture. Now we come to the modern era. Jesus crucified, the crucifixion. Now I want to show the 21st century, which is full of agony, pain, suffering, sorrow, despair, torture, lies, and places like Guantanamo detention center and Abu Ghraib prison, and hunger and pollution. And what are we going to do about it? I wonder.